revisions, okay, and then PowerPoint revision to have a revision from lecture 1 to lecture 11, okay, and then I will give you time for the individual assignment as consultations. You can ask any questions about the individual assignment, and then also about I will give you time to do the in-class exercise 5, okay, and then that's all about today class, and then also the week 12 arrangement, week 12 lecture arrangement, okay. Any questions about it? 有冇問題啊？講多次，今日教埋 certification， 我未教晒嘅，咁我今日會開埋 migration and population 啦，好快教晒，好短。跟住咧練習咧，我就擺埋落去12號4月12號第12週先至同你哋做噶啦。咁同埋俾你做 consultation。咁下個星期係5號，5號咧下個禮拜一5號就冇堂，因為 Easter break， 記住 Easter break 咁冇堂。跟住之後咧12號嗰個就12週啦，咁我哋就會有個溫習啦，溫習翻之前所有咁多課嘅 lecture 啦，咁咧同埋咧俾你做翻第5個練習同埋做consultation 嘅 ，OK， 咁呢個就係第12週4月12號安排。最後 last reminder， you will have a take-home exercise on 29th of April, okay, at 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. Okay, and then the format will be quite similar to the in-class exercise, very similar. Okay, and then that's why you are required to read a short article, short passage. Okay, and then you answer the questions. Okay, and then there's plenty of time. I'm sure that maybe you only use half an hour, or even though maybe 45 minutes, and then you can finish. Okay, and then but you have to attend it. Okay, if you need to you have special reasons, for example like sickness, okay, you have to apply for leave of you have to apply for the reassessment. Okay， 如果你有身體有病嘅情況之下，你就要有醫生指示到去補做翻下。如果唔係嘅話，所有同學我應該係期望你係會出現嘅呢日 ，OK， 上網出現翻 ，OK， you are expected to be online, OK, to attend to the take-home exercise, and then all this exercise will be available, OK, on the 7 o'clock to 10 p.m. Okay, on the 29th of April. Okay, you have to attend. Okay, this one. Okay, and then please mark on your diary. You have to attend this take-home exercise. 所有同學同我 mark 低個 diary 度。總之就4月29號，你係要做一個練習嘅，係 open book 嘅。This is an open book assessment. Okay, let's see what it's about. 我再提多次啊，再下一堂。Okay, take-home exercise. You are required to work in the worksheet within 3 hours. Actually, I think you can within 1 hour finish. Okay, and then you will be able to access a worksheet or assignment via Moodle. That's why. Okay, and on the 29th of April at 7 p.m. sharply. Okay, go to the Moodle. Okay, and then find out the take-home exercise folder. Okay, and then there will be a worksheet. Okay, and then you start to work by yourself, open book. Okay, and then you can work. Okay, and then after finishing it, before the deadline, 10 p.m., upload your assignment to the Moodle. And then you are able to show me your ability to understand all the concept, and also to answer the questions with the concept of theory that we already covered. Okay, and then deductions of 10% of this assignment will be imposed for every 24 hours. That means you are required to submit the assignment on time. And also, if you need to apply for any retake, okay, you must apply in advance, for example, like sickness, okay, and then you must inform me in advance, okay, otherwise there will be no reassessment. 記住啊，唔該 mark 你 diary 度啦，4月29號夜晚7點鐘至10點鐘，7點鐘開始咧，嗰個 worksheet 就會 available 喺 Moodle 㗎啦，你就打開嗰個 Moodle， 跟住就開始做啦。咁我諗唔使用晒3個鐘頭，好快做完，1個鐘頭乜都做完啦。咁咧個 format 就會好似啲in-class exercise 咁啊，個 format 會好似。跟住之後做完之後就 upload， 咁每24小時就扣10分，如果你遲交。如果有同學有病啊或者其他特別嘅原因嘅情況之下，請你要申請總之通知我 ，OK， by email 通知我 ，OK。For those students who may not be able to attend, I will only accept the reasons of sickness, OK. Or any other very special reasons, okay, you must have to visitations, okay, you have to apply for these reasons, okay, visitations, and then also you must apply in advance, okay, or if you are sick, you must provide your doctor or see doctor certificate, okay, to prove that you are sick. That's why you're entitled to reassess. Otherwise, okay, we won't entertain any reassessment requests. Okay, 冇得補考嘅呢個，當係一個測驗。This is an open book assessment. Okay, and then you are required to assign to this time slot again, and then to complete the worksheets. Okay, and then the format will be quite similar to the in-class exercise. Okay, you are required to read a short passage and then to answer 2 to 3 questions. Okay, and then please spare time. Okay, mark on your diary on the 29th of April at 7 p.m. Okay, and then when you after finishing, okay, you have to upload on the Moodle. Okay, and then that's all about the take-home exercise. Okay， 咁呢個 take-home exercise 咧就做呢度嘢啦。咁咁困難嘅，如果你係平時有上堂啊，有做晒嘢嘅話咧，應該不大問題嘅。OK， 有冇問題 ？Any questions about the take-home exercise and also the arrangement？ 有冇問題？ 問題 ？Any questions? Any questions about the arrangement of the coming classes? Oh, okay. And then just a friendly reminder as well. And then 12th of April, week 12 will be the last lecture. That's why. Please join the class. Join the class for revision. And consultation. Okay. 咁總之咧 ，week 12 will be the last class. Okay, and then please bear in mind. Okay, and then this is about the take-home exercise. Okay. 29th of April, 7 p.m. Okay, and then for week 12 will be the last class. Okay, and then we will have the consultation and also in-class exercise. Okay, and then that will be about the week 12 arrangement. That will be the 12th of April. 4月12號上呢堂，最後一堂。Okay, remember next week. 5th of April, no class. And then week 12th of April, 4月12號就上第12週 revision. And then individual assignment consultation and also in-class exercise 5. Okay. And then that will be about the week 12 arrangement. And then week 13, okay. And then you have to just need to attend the 29th of April. Okay, the take-home exercise. Okay, 就咁簡單啦。總之記住，今日我哋就教埋呢課同呢課。下個星期一4月5號冇堂，4月12號就係做revision 總溫習，同埋我會俾時間你做問功課，同埋做埋呢個練習。OK， 第13週正常星期一嗰堂冇堂嘅。OK， 跟住淨係上4月19號7點至10點鐘堂啦，就係咁啦。OK， 咁你記住啦，下次12週4月12號咧仲有一堂，唔該，即係總溫習嗰個同學都要翻學啦。OK。That's all about the arrangement of this week and also week 12. Okay, that means it's 12th of April, and that's also the 13th will be the 29th of April. Okay, and that will be arrangement. And then for the take-home exercise already here. Okay, if you cannot attend, okay, please apply in advance. Okay. And then inform me and apply in advance. Okay, and then if you're sick on that day, okay, if you need to have the reassessment, okay, would you please provide your doctor certificate, okay, and then also to email me and apply the formal procedure. Okay, otherwise 10% of the deductions of mark will be imposed for every 24 hours. 除非你係有病，如果唔係嗰日有病，嗰日先知先有病㗎嘛。咁你早啲通知我，同埋要經翻正常途徑嚟到去申請翻要 reassess。如果有特別事嘅，早啲申請嗱，咁未必一定批啊。我唔知你咩特別事啊。咁我會同翻你個呢科嘅主任，即係負責嘅老師去商議。咁如果唔係嘅話咧，我係期望所有同學應該4月29號7點鐘會出現㗎啦。OK，I expect all of you, okay, will appear attend to the this take-home exercise, okay, on the 29th of April at 7 p.m. sharply, okay, and then that will be about the take-home exercise, okay. Okay, if no questions, I will start the lecture. Okay, 好啦，我教書。Okay, last time I mentioned about the lecture 10. Okay, lecture 10. Any questions about the class system, caste system, and class system? Any questions? 有冇問題？有冇問題啊？有冇問題啊？ About these lectures, any questions? Any questions about these lectures? Okay, the earlier part of this lecture about caste system and class system. Okay, and also the approaches to interpret about the stratifications. 有冇問題？有冇問題啊？ Clear? No questions. Okay, very clear. 冇㗎啦，你明好啦，非常好。Poverty, about poverty, right? Okay, if no questions about last time we stop it here, okay, and then about the approaches, okay, to understand and then to understand about the certification, okay. 講晒啦，上次important because okay, if no questions, I will start another topic. Okay, it's about global certification. Okay, and then last time we mentioned about in micro level in every society or country society. Okay, and then we understand what is caste system, caste system, and class system, and also we understand that there are different categories. Okay, and that will be divided according to different factors. Okay, by the cultural or belief, cultural or political or economic. Okay, and then we also mentioned about using to understand that actually the society will be divided into different categories or hierarchy. Okay, and then right now we will have a macro level. We look into the stratification in macro level. Macro level, that means we look into country by country. Okay, and then last lecture we mentioned about stratification within a society. Okay, that will be a micro level. Okay, and then what is the global level, and then the stratification, and then we will look at the stratification in and then in a global level, higher level, a macro level, and then from country to country. Okay, and then let's see what happened. And then actually this is a pattern of social inequality in the world as a whole. Okay, we can see that some countries may suffer from many inequalities, and then some countries may gain a lot of resources, allocations of resources. Okay, and then we can look into this kind of social inequality between country to countries. Okay, and then we can see the pattern as a whole. And then the greatest social inequality is not within the country, but between the countries. Between the countries, you can see the COVID-19. Okay, very good examples. For some low-income country, you can see that they have the difficulty to buy the vaccination, okay, vaccine, and then the residents or citizens there, okay, may suffer from the COVID-19, even though inadequate medical service, inadequate consultation doctors, okay, and then right now, even though the vaccination already developed, okay, but those are only available for those high-income countries. They can have the ability to buy, okay, even though there are so many surplus, for example, like Canada. So for example, like UK, okay, and then for the yesterday news, already there are some voices in UK. Some pressure groups already advocate to the UK government, and then to ask for if there is excessive vaccinations, okay, too many vaccinations, and then if all the UK people already finished the second vaccination, okay, the excessive vaccination should be surplus, okay, and that should be able to deliver to those countries, okay, and the low-income countries, okay, to save the people there, okay. Otherwise, okay, there will be wastage. And then also in Canada as well. And then a couple of weeks ago, Canada, the Prime Minister already mentioned about there will be surplus of the vaccination left behind. Okay, and then they will firstly to entertain all the Canadian first. Okay, but he did not mention about how they treat the overbuying of the surplus of the West nations. Okay, and then you can see that there's some rich country, okay, developed country, or even though they are a high income country, they may have surplus of the resources. Versus for those poor income group, for example, poor income, low income countries, for example, like the countries in Africa, the countries in, for example, like in Asia. Okay, and then they may suffer from this kind of resources. Okay, this is about the inequality, the global stratification within just within the country, but between the countries. Okay, and then we can have a look at the Bangladesh garment factory fire. This video. Okay, take a look first. 我睇條片啊，等陣，一陣啊。Okay, 一陣啊。And then okay.
我哋見到張廢片嘅兩邊肺咧都有好多陰影，好大機會都係有腫瘤喺度。
The scene of horror at a clothing factory that went up in flames, workers trapped inside. The factory is in Bangladesh, but the clothes they make are for international companies, some of those companies American, allegedly including Walmart. ABC's chief investigative correspondent Brian Ross has been tracking these overseas factories and their safety violations and has already begun to ask questions tonight.
The fire broke out at night as hundreds of garment workers were on overtime shifts, producing clothes bound for some major American retailers, including Walmart, according to workers' rights groups. Officials in Bangladesh said the flames spread rapidly on the ground floor, trapping those on higher floors of the 7-story building. There were no exterior fire escapes, according to officials, and many died after jumping from upper floors to escape the flames. As firemen continued to remove bodies today, officials said at least 112 people had died, but that the number of fatalities could go higher. It all adds to the shameful record, as previously reported by ABC News, of more than 600 garment factory fire deaths in Bangladesh over the last 5 years, a place of the cheapest labor in the world and some of the most deplorable conditions.
The industry, apparel brands in the U.S. have been warned again and again about the extreme dangers to apparel workers in Bangladesh, and yet they have not taken action.
Workers activists went into the burned-out remains today to document which major retailers they say were using the Tazreen factory. They say they found labels for Feta Glory, a Walmart private label, along with labels they say tracked back to Sears and a clothing company owned by Sean Combs.
There's no question that Walmart and the other customers of this factory bear some of the blame for what happened in this fire, yes, without doubt.
Is that really fair? Because they're so far away.
They know exactly what's going on in these facilities. They have staff on site in Bangladesh.
Walmart actually warned of dangerous conditions at the Tazreen factory last year in a letter posted on the website of the factory owner. Quote, the factory had violations and/or conditions which were deemed to be high risk.
Tonight, a spokesman for Walmart tells ABC News the company has not been able to confirm whether its clothing was being produced at the factory at the time of the fire. We haven't heard back yet from Sears or Sean Combs, two other companies that labor activists said were using the factory that turned into a death trap, David.
We've been warning of images just like these for some time now, Brian. I know you'll keep asking these questions. Thank you.
Okay. We go back to the PowerPoint. Okay. Okay, and then from the PowerPoint, you can see that, sorry, from the video, you can see that, okay, actually, a couple of years ago, okay, there was a fire in Bangladesh, okay, and then can you tell me why? Okay, and then there were so many, okay, there were many factories, manufacturing factories, like the many multinational companies, okay, and they would choose Bangladesh as a desirable place for manufacturing. Do you know why? 點解 Bangladesh 有咁多 工廠喺嗰度設立咗啊？知唔知啊 ？Can you guess why? And then why there was this kind of fire actually not only happened once. Okay, there are quite a lot of this kind of tragedy happened in Bangladesh. I asked two questions. Why? First, why there are so many multinational companies they would like to choose they would like to choose the Bangladesh as a desirable location for manufacturing. Second thing is then why there were so many this kind of tragedies happened in Bangladesh. 好啦，有同學問點解 low labor cost? Yes, it is very cheap. Okay, in 20 to 30 years ago, more than 30 years ago, China actually is a well factory because China reopened for economic development in late 1980s. Okay, and then at that time, abundance of labor force, and that's very cheap. Okay, but later on, after 20 to 30 years of successful of the economic development, okay, and then the government in China, okay, alert about the protections of the environment and also the protection of the labor, and then China also to have the economic reforms very successful from primary and then secondary sectors and then to tertiary sectors, and then China no longer to be very cheap labor force for factories or factory manufacturing. Okay, and then China make a big progress. Okay, and then the cost will be higher. Okay, and then eventually and also the rise of the RMB as well, the currency, and then later on, okay, and then some other Asian country, for example like Vietnam or Burma, the Myanmar, okay, and also Vietnam, Vietnam, and then to become more and more popular because of cheaper labor costs. And then later on, okay, Bangladesh, okay, even cheaper because and also Cambodia as well. And then for some developing countries, as usual, they will have very low entry costs and then to attract the manufacturers. 呢個係一個好悲劇嚟嘅，因為大家冇試過喺亞洲一啲窮啲嘅地方度生活過啦嚇。當你經歷過好長期嘅戰亂，或是柬埔寨長期20-30年嘅戰亂。咁好多情況之下咧，通常嗰個國家就會嗰個門檻擺得好低，就俾希望吸引到多啲嘅外資嚟到去做生產啊。咁喺內地入邊嚟講，80年代尾先至開始改革開放啦。咁中國都經過咗我哋嘅國家啦，經過咗一個好沉重嘅一啲嘅苦難啊。咁好多情況之下，當你一開始嘅情況之下咧，經濟發展一定 set 到個門檻好低，等到外商嚟到去投資啦。咁外商投資嘅情況之下咧，通常就會貪嗰笪地方就個勞動力多啦，同埋平啦。Okay, what I want to say is, okay, this is quite poor. When we review about history, as usual for a country, as usual they may suffer from a long period time of turmoil or long period of political instability or maybe war, domestic war. Okay, and then eventually very poor economy, and then somehow they will set the very lower threshold level. Okay, and then to attract the foreign companies. Okay, and then to start their business, and then in order to provide jobs. Okay, as usual the MNC will target for those places with the very low cost and also with very little government regulation or restrictions. Okay, and then they will set up factories, and then over there, okay, and then the labor costs were very cheap. As I said, okay, in the 30 or 40 years ago when there was the reopening of China to have the economy at that time, the economic reform. Okay, and then there was attractions of a large amount of MNC set up business and operations and also manufacturing factories in China. But later on, because of the progress of China, the economy transformed from primary, secondary, and then to tertiary level. Okay, tertiary sectors. Okay, and then less and less. Okay, people engage in manufacturing. Okay, and you can see that China right now, and then it's no longer a window, no longer a real factory. And then somehow for other Asian countries, for example, as what I said, for example, like Cambodia and also Bangladesh. Okay, even right now, okay, these countries may suffer from poor economic development, and then they will set the entry level very low, and then they may attract for the foreign companies and then to be there and then to set up their business because of the very low restriction, very little restriction, very low entry cost. Okay, they will set up there. But on the other hand, the downside would be, okay, the people may over there, the residents over there, okay, and then they may have to chance to work, okay, and then the cheap labor cost. And then somehow, but the downside will be very little government intervention, very little government restrictions, and then the workers, their privileges will not be protected. And then you can see that this is the second answer about the answer for second question. Why there are so many this kind of tragedies happen in these countries? Somehow because of very little protections, very little regulation and restrictions against the manufacturer owner. And then you can see that the workers were locked up, okay, and then there are abuse of children, okay, ask the children to child labor, the problem of child labor, the problem of underprivileged, and also abuse of the workers, and also very little protections, and also environmental pollution as well. Because as usual, this kind of countries, okay, when they wanted to attract the foreigners, and then they will have very little interventions against the environmental protection conservations, and also the labor regulations, and also the cost control, something like that. And then in order to attract the foreigners, and then to set up factories, so provide jobs, and then provide and also provide capital, and then for the economic development. 咁呢個好悲劇嚟㗎，永遠都係有同學如果有機會第時去下柬埔寨呢啲地方啊，或者係去下呢啲比較即係發展中國國家，你會覺得好悲涼。因為譬如柬埔寨戰亂咗成20幾年，但係到90年代仲搞緊，仲有好多戰亂。而家入邊仲有好多嗰啲周圍仲有地雷㗎，地下有好多地雷嘅。咁你打咗好多年仗，入邊好悲涼嘅故事啊嚇嘅。咁好多國家亦都為咗爭奪咗嗰個嘅亞洲入邊一啲嘅政權啦嚇，咁變多一擺好多資源落去做好多支持嗰度入邊啲遊擊隊啊打仗，所以變咗認識下歷史啊，你會覺得香港其實好幸福，香港係一個發福地嚇。咁你冇一個好嘅經濟，sorry，冇一個好嘅政治環境嘅話，你發展唔到經濟。你去到呢啲地方，你感覺好差㗎，你個感覺好蒼涼，打咗幾十年仗，生活都生活唔到。有柬埔寨曾經喺70至80年代，佢係可以死咗一半嘅人口啊，一半人口俾人哋係嗰啲咩殺戮啊，俾當時嘅嗰個政府去殺戮㗎嚇，咁變咗係好恐怖。咁入邊好多內戰，打咗幾十年可以死300幾萬人啊，真係好恐怖。What I want to say is I use the Cambodia as an example. If you have chance, okay, you can have it in the future to travel. Okay, you can have a more chance to travel this kind of country, for example, like Cambodia. A couple of years ago, I traveled to Cambodia as a tourist. Okay, and then I know about the history of Cambodia. It's a very very sad story about the history of Cambodia. As I said, they suffer from the turmoil. They suffer from political instability. Up to 1/3 or more than 1/3, up to half of the population of the people were killed at that time, murdered because of the domestic violence, and then also many domestic wars. Okay, and then within the power struggle within the Cambodia. Okay, and then you can see that was very sad. And then some other foreign countries, they wanted to uphold their influence in Cambodia, and then they support the warfares, okay, in Cambodia. And then this is a very sad story in Cambodia. And then you can see that this is the reasons why after the end of the domestic war in late 80s and early 90s, okay, and then the Cambodian government, okay, the overall the country very poor. Very, very poor. Even though you are in some of the key cities, okay, you can see they're very poor developed, okay. And then the government in Cambodia, okay, they try to attract the foreigners, and then to set up factories, and then to have very low cost for the land rent, capital cost, and then also very low restriction, even though no restrictions, okay, and the regulation for setting up the business. Okay, you can see that this is the reasons why under this kind of conditions, okay, the workforce, okay, the work labor will not be protected. And also maybe there are so many child abuse questions, problems or factory tragedies in the factories. Okay, and then there's somehow it's quite similar in the cases in Bangladesh. Okay, and then why I mentioned about Cambodia, because 2 to 3 years ago, 3 years ago, I went to Cambodia. Okay, and then at that time I was quite sad, and then when I look around the surroundings of the key key cities. So I went to 2 cities in Cambodia. 我3年前去啊，咁我去咗2個城市，3個城市，3個城市。咁變咗咧，我睇到啲地方好窮啦，好多乞衣啦，街嗰度，同埋啲基建好落後啦，咁同埋成街好多垃圾啦。佢有幾個大個好大嘅歷史景點，一定要睇啦。咁你又發現咗嗰個國家嘅歷史係好睇完好深啊！我讀歷史出身嘅，我本身讀歷史。咁柬埔寨歷史以前細個讀過嘅，咁跟住咧就到你再睇去到個當地再睇嘅時候，好心痛嘅。呢個點解一啲人要係經歷過咁多內亂同埋戰爭，香港係塊福地，香港嗰啲係自己攞嚟嘅，好啊！即係好多情況之下，你去到呢啲地方真係好無奈。你去到呢啲地方，你就知道香港係一個好幸福嘅地方。只需要你肯努力，你肯有目標，你肯努力，你好多情況之下你可以生存得到，仲有個幾好嘅生活。但係你去到呢啲地方，你連生存都生存唔到啊！曾經喺70至80年代有一半嘅人口係被殺落咗幾百萬人。咁你會發全部內亂咯，同埋戰爭咯。咁你會發覺真係好瘋狂啊！呢個你認識下歷史，咁你發現咗好蒼涼嗰個好鄧嗰度啲人民好心痛㗎，你睇你會覺得點解人連基本嘅生存嘅基本權利同尊嚴都冇咧咁樣，即係所以好好去珍惜生命，珍惜你今日有嘅資源，唔係一定係當到你嗰個經濟唔好，政府有錢派俾你，你冇書讀就可以讀書或者讀啲，或者係當你嗰個經濟環境差啲，咁啲人隨便巴閉，但係呢啲人你連生存嘅機會都冇啊！生存嘅尊嚴都冇啊！咁我就覺得你去下睇下唔同嘅地方，你會認識到香港其實係一塊福地咯，即係唔好再咁多怨言啊對香港。即係我呢個係我好深刻嘅體會。3年前當我去到柬埔寨嘅時候，真係嚇到跳，好蒼涼啊！同埋你會發現咗即係唔係幸福唔係必然咯。OK。Okay, and then this is the reasons why about why there are so many MNC they would like to choose this kind of developing countries and then for the setting up the business, and then because of very little restrictions or even though no regulations, okay, no restrictions or control, okay, and then the workers will be underprivileged, okay. Okay, global stratification. The richest 20% of the global population receive about 90% of the global wealth. That means, okay, and then the most developed countries, okay, and then up to 20% of the global population, okay, and then they receive 95% of global wealth. Okay, then there will be the very clear the gap between the rich and the poor between the countries. Okay, and then the poorest 20% of the world's people struggle to survive for just only 0.2% of the global wealth. Okay, and then you can see that, for example, like the children in Bangladesh and versus the children in Norway or in Northern Europe. Okay, and you can see that there are very big differences between the children, the quality of living, quality of education. Okay, even though you can see that for example, like as I said in the Cambodia. Okay, and then Cambodia, there was a very famous actually notorious tourist spots. Okay, it's about a places, and then there are okay, and what I want to say is that abandoned town. Okay, and then all the rubbish will be just put there over there in Cambodia. Okay, and then the children, and they would the whole day they just collecting the rubbish. Okay, and then to select the rubbish, and then for the plastic or even though some of the metal, and then they can resell the rubbish again to earn their living. And then for the whole day of collecting the rubbish, okay, and then to try to find out, to screen out some reusable material, and then they can earn about $1 for 1 day. And then you can see that the children in Cambodia, okay, living in this kind of very poor hygiene environment, okay, and then they can do is not go to the school for education, but somehow they spend their whole life, okay, the youth time, okay, and then to collecting rubbish, okay, rather than they can have a chance to go to education, or maybe they can have a chance to have a football match, and then to enjoy a football match, or even though they can have go to the cinema or go to have dining with friends, okay, and then they have to strike for the life, okay, the better life, and then for not only for themselves but also for their families, for their younger brothers and sisters. You can see this kind of life. They are so there's a big differences between the people, the children in the very well developed countries and developing countries。咁你會見到啲細路仔好凄涼㗎。咁譬如我曾經見過就係喺柬埔寨都有一啲好即係點講咧？一啲景點其實都唔可以用景點啊，其實幾凄涼嘅。有啲地方就變咗係嗰啲廢墟啊，嗰啲地方咧就俾人哋攞嚟棄啲垃圾。咁成個城啊，成個灘都係成個地方全部都係嗰啲廢置嘅垃圾區嘅。咁咧嗰個地方入邊嚟講咧，睇到都幾痛心啊！俾你睇就話所有嗰啲殘餘物資啊、食嘅嘢啊、嗰啲執從你抌晒落去啦。咁嗰啲人咧，細路仔就住喺垃圾山嗰度啦。咁咧變咗咧就會係執垃圾。咁執垃圾每日都可以執到少過1蚊美金啦，因為過活啦。咁樣咧成個即係啲執垃圾咧，因為冇書讀啊，亦都屋企好窮啊，咪放啲細路仔出去執垃圾咯。咁啊揾到幾多錢得幾多錢啦，或者街邊度乞食啦嚇。咁變咗咧就有冇遊客去嘅。去睇嘅咪可以黑到食咯 ，OK， 咁好凄涼啊！你睇北歐啲細路仔，北歐係差唔多全個地球上邊比較富裕嘅國家就喺北歐啦。咁變咗咧嗰個population per capita 啦，咁對翻個人口嗰個 GDP per capita 嗰個平均人口嘅嗰個收入咧都係好高嘅。咁佢就地多啦、人少啦，同埋嗰個係屬於係高端科技嘅國家啦。咁你發現到嗰啲細路仔咧就同呢啲地方啊，即係頭先我講嘅 Bangladesh 或者 Cambodia 就爭到天同地啦，就好慘嗰啲人係，咁生活入邊就爭好遠啊。所以睇到啲人其實擁有嗰個資源係好少啊。Okay, what I want to say is the gap between the poor and the rich. Okay, very obvious, and then the gap is quite wide. Okay, and then the global certification. You can see that the classification: high income group, middle income group countries, and the low income group countries. You can see that high income group countries. Okay, the countries with the highest overall standard of living. Okay, you can see that from the Northern Europe, for example, Norway. Okay, for example,好多地方啊，北歐嗰4個國家啦，挪威都係啦。Okay, and then you can see that there are so many, so the differences are quite big. Okay, and then you can see that北歐Northern Europe are very good. Overall, very good environment. Okay, and then for the people, low population, but with plenty of places. Okay, and then you can see that and then the GDP per capita is really high. Okay, and then the people can enjoy a very good living. Okay, and then there are some countries, for example, like Norway, Sweden, Finland, Denmark. Okay, and then these kind of places. Okay, very good environment for living. And then because these countries contain a lot of natural resources, oil. Okay, gas and oil, and also they developed high-end technologies. For example, like the telecommunications, and also technology and telecommunications, and also high level of high-end technologies. And then this is the reasons why they rely on this kind of high-end technologies, and then for the GDP. And then you can see that the overall environment, different environment. Cost of living are quite high. Okay, 好貴啊！喺北歐嗰度生活啊，丹麥啊、挪威啊、芬蘭啊呢啲地方啦。咁我幾年前去過，哇，舒服到不得了。除咗天氣凍啦，即係日即係暖嘅時間少啦，1年入邊，但係整體嚟講咧，好乾淨， 好寧靜，冇人乜滯嘅，好舒服。嗰個生活指數好高，但係個地方整體嚟講，度度都好乾淨，好企理嘅。咁呢啲就係屬於係高收入嘅地方，佢人少。地方大，但係佢有好充足嘅資源，因為佢有石油啊，地下有石油，咁有 gas 有石油啦，咁同時候佢賣出去㗎嘛，係咪？咁同埋佢做嘅係高端科技啊，高端科技嘅國家，咁變咗所有地方之後咧，就整體嚟講冇揾到好多錢咯，所以變咗咧同埋佢哋係高稅人，佢收好多稅啊。咁變咗令到咧，所有嗰啲中層嗰啲嘅基層嘅人咧，就變咗嗰個貧富差距冇咁犀利，因為所有人都可以去讀嗰啲公立學校，由幼稚園去到大學都有政府津貼啦，交好多錢稅。如果你係專業人士，交成90%稅。Well, I want to say this, okay, and then high-income countries, okay, for example, I use Sweden, Finland, and also Denmark, okay, and then Norway as an example. And then, as I said, okay, for the profession, they will be charged up to 90% of their salary as a taxes, okay, profit tax. And then this is to make the people between the rich and the poor, maybe the gap will be narrower. And then why? Because the people over there in Northern Europe, they claim that they are the most happiest countries, the happiest countries, okay, the life that can happen in Northern Europe. Why? Because the people in the middle or lower income group, okay, within this kind of Northern Europe countries, okay, the children can enjoy the same level of education as the rich children, okay, and then the government tried to narrow down the gap between the rich and the poor. That's why you can see that the richest people, okay, they have to pay a lot of taxes, and then they can make the whole country with a very good social welfare, and then provided that, okay, the population is very low. The number of people, okay, very low, okay, that can make the standard of living very good. And then they have the problem, for example, like they still have the problem aging because the birth rate very low. And then the people over there, okay, the young couple prefer to have freedom, independence rather than have children, okay, and then they have the aging problem as well because the people reluctant to have babies, okay, and then these are the high income countries the phenomenon. And then the middle income countries, the countries with standard of living about the average as the whole for the world as a whole, middle income countries. And then the lower income countries, okay, the countries with very low standard of living, and then the people are very poor, inadequate, and then over absolute poverty. And then you can see that the concept we mentioned last week. 咁呢度就分章到。嗰啲嘅地球上面咧，咁多國家分成為一啲高端啲嘅收入嘅國家啦、中端啦同埋低端。咁你會見到有啲咧，哇窮到好緊要，真係好窮到緊要，就我哋嘅 absolute poverty 嗰啲好窮。咁有啲人咧就整體講嗰啲國家入邊嘅人民整體都好窮，係咁啊。Okay, you can see that the economic development, high income group, middle income group, and the low income group. You can see that for example, like Africa. Okay, and then some of the Asian country, okay, and then you can see that, okay, Cambodia, as I said, Cambodia, okay, and then they will suffer from very poor, or the middle, okay, actually China as a whole, right now more up and coming, okay, and then you can see that high income countries, for example, like in the Europe, okay, and then the Northern Europe and also Canada, US, okay. But somehow the US may suffer from the poor and the rich gap quite wide. 冇諗住成個美國都好有錢啊，好多美國好鬼多窮人啊。And then currently in the past 5 years, even though in UK they may suffer from many problem of the poverty as well because the gap quite wide, and also the influx of the immigrants to UK almost 10 years ago, and then there are many immigrants, illegal immigrants, or from the Eastern Europe. They went to the UK. They went to UK for jobs. Okay, and then they make UK become suffer from the poverty problem as well. 咁你冇諗住呢啲發達國家政策，譬如美國人哋嚟講，好多人失業啊！而家近呢幾年都係，尤其是 COVID-19 之後，咁仲有加埋喺歐洲入邊，譬如你睇得到嘅就係都有啲貧窮嘅問題出現咗，就係 UK 好多乞衣人，近呢4-5年啊，多乞衣多到不得了，揾唔到嘢做啊！喺實倫敦嗰堆地方咧，地鐵啊啲地方好多乞衣啊，就搶劫啊！因為點解好多東歐人咧走咗過去非法嘅啲係 走咗去揾嘢做啊。咁因為倫敦個消費力好高啊，咁變咗啲人冇地方住咪瞓街咯，成日喺個地鐵度瞓咯，公園度瞓咯，所以好多搶劫啊，好多乞衣嘅問題啊。Okay, and then global certification high-income countries, about 24% of world population. Okay, and then 3/4 of the people in this country live in a near city because they are high income. Okay, and then they can live near the city. With the poor, they will live outside the city. Okay, people in this country enjoy 59% of the world's total income. A high income group, and then they can enjoy the facilities and all the resources. Okay, and then production in this country is capital intensive. Okay, and then they make money. Okay, and then also these countries control the world's financial markets. You can say that all the developed countries, for example, like in UK, and then also in US, and then you can see that they control the financial markets as well. Many private banking companies actually from US as well. Okay, and then some European countries. Okay, and then you can see that the financial markets controlled by this kind of high income countries. Okay, middle income countries. Okay, you can see that, and then up to the per capita annual incomes range from the US dollar 3,500 to 15,000. Okay, about 6% of the world population. Okay, and 53% of the people of this country live in the nearest city. Okay, because they are okay, they can support the cost of living. That's why they live in the nearest city, and then the remaining 7% live in the rural areas with cheaper costs. Okay, and then they may suffer from the inadequacy of the resources because they're a little bit far away. And then for the low-income country, most likely agrarian countries, and then these kind of countries, they may base on agriculture. Okay, and then 40% of the world populations. Okay, high population intensity, because as usual for this kind of low-income countries, people may not have very good birth control, and then due to the poor education, and then they believe that the children are the assets because they can provide labor. And then they will have no birth control, and then no abortion, and then to give birth, keep giving birth. Okay, and then this is the reasons why for the poor country they will have a very high population, high birth rate. 咁貧窮國家啲人嘅知識水平唔高啦，就會相信咧就生多啲 BB 出嚟啦，就可以幫助到嗰個多啲勞動力，係咁生，又冇避孕啦，亦都冇節育啦，所以一定係咁生。所以變咗呢啲地方嚟講咧，通常都會係高人口都比較多。35% live in the cities. Okay, less when we compare with the high income group, right? And then many people live in the village and farms because they may have they have to live in the farm for agriculture, and then to take care of the children and also the families. Productivity is low, and then all made based on labor force. Okay, and most likely they will use labor force rather than machine. Okay, and then for agriculture, and then they enjoy severe poverty, very poor. Okay, and then you can see that is about the low income group people. Okay. Global certification, some other facts. Okay, in 2015, 10% of the world population, up to 734 million people live in less than $1.9 per day, very poor. Okay, and then that's down from the 36% or 1.9 billion people in 1996. That's why the poor people getting poorer and poorer. Okay, and then current trends predict that the 10 million 5 to 14 years old, that means it is about children, and also 52 million of children under 5 will be die between 2019 and 2030 because of the poverty and also from the hunger. Okay, and then the children may not be well healthily and properly treated. Okay, and then there are so many street kids. 好多嗰啲街童啊。Many children, okay, suffer from this. When we consider that in Hong Kong, we cannot see this kind of street kids. Okay, in Hong Kong, some people may suffer from a poor family, but somehow they have a shelter. But for this kind of poor country, they even don't have a shelter. 香港嗰啲窮咧，最多去到板間房嗰啲貧窮，未去到瞓街乞食啊！你會見到好少見到啲細路仔要街度乞食啊！但係如果你去東南亞啲窮啲國家咧，你會旅行發現咗咧，大住肚啲媽咪咧拖住個 BB 係乞食啊，好凄涼。咁我就覺得呢啲街入邊好多街童係乞食啊，香港 冇啲人貧窮都未去到要成家人都乞食啊。OK， 有啲唔同啊。Okay, and then some slavery, some facts of chattel slavery. That means and then they will sell out the children, for slavery, for cheap labor, slavery in Africa. You can see that, and then illegal to sold to servant slavery, and then slavery imposed by the state, slavery imposed by the state. For example, like you are the prisoners, and then you are imposed to do some hard work at the mines or coal mine, or even though some of the mile, you have to work. For example, you are prisoners and then you are imposed to do so. 有啲礦工啊，就譬如咧採礦啊，譬如咧苦工啊，咁你係被一啲國家或者一啲城市啦，你譬如你俾捉咗入去做咗苦役啊，點解會因為你坐監啦，可能做咗苦役啦，咁你就變咗就俾要去做採礦啊，或者做其他勞役嘅嘢苦役。Child slavery, and then the children will be used for the child labor, and then debt bondage. You are in debt, and then you are imposed to work in some factories, and then to return the debts by working very hard. And then the debt bondage. 做嗰啲因為你爭好多錢啊，咁變咗好多情況之下咧，你被安排咗去一啲地方度做工人啦。And then this is a form of marriage, child marriage. Child marriage is another form of slavery. And then in some other developing countries, especially in Asia, and then child marriage, or even in Africa or Middle East, child marriage up to 9 years old, and then they are allowed to have a child marriage, and then the child will be from the poor family will be sold to we call it sold. Actually they set up marriage, and then to a richer family, and then to be wife or to be wife or concubine. And then the child will be used for not only for sex, and then to be for sex object, and then to be the entertainment of some rich men. But somehow they used for as a slave as well. 童婚啊，咁其實根本係一個非法嘅強姦啦，如果咁講，你諗下佢哋可以俾佢童婚，咁即係有啲細路仔慘到係少過9歲，細過9歲，或者細過11歲就變咗童婚，就賣咗俾嗰啲有窮嘅屋企，變咗去啲有錢屋企，咁變相式其實係一個合法嘅強姦咯。咁變咗佢哋通婚啊嘛，咁變咗係滿足咗啲有錢嘅一啲嘅人嘅需要啦，同埋就變咗係嗰啲叫做童養式啊。變咗俾人哋擺咗去做工人咁樣做啦嚇，咁冇得讀書又冇得見屋企人啊，好凄。Human trafficking 販賣人口，非法販賣人口 ，that means illegal to selling the labor force, human trafficking, and then also quite common also for some of the countries in Africa as well. And then very poor trafficking. And then the human trafficking will be used for prostitutions. Not only for female but also for male as well. And then or labor for illegal labor for work as well. And then these are the slavery. About this kind of stratifications. And then we can go to another concept about modernization theory. It's a model of economic and social development that explains the global inequality in terms of technological and cultural differences between countries. And then modernization theory may explain why it happens with this kind of inequalities. First of all, historical perspective. It emerged in 1950s. Traditionally, is a barrier to economic development. And then why are some countries more affluent, more richer? Because of the industrial revolutions, and then to make the countries to become stronger and bigger, and then to also to have mass productions, and then the surplus products will be to be used for international trading. And then some high-income countries jump into the at least four in terms of their living standard because of industrial technology with better industrial revolutions, better technological advancement, more production, more surplus good, and then to be sold to the overseas market. And then middle-income countries become richer under the industrialization as well. Low-income group they still remain rely on the labor-intensive industry. Primary sectors, primary industry, the primary sectors, rather than to the tertiary sectors. And then they will suffer from capital intensive development to labor intensive, and then they remain poor. Okay, from a historical perspective. 從歷史角度睇得到啦，咁有啲國家，譬如越係有錢嘅，佢有經濟發展嘅，亦都係搞科技嘅，咁變咗佢有越嚟越用少啲人力物力，用人力咯。咁變咗你高端嘅情況之下，你有多餘嘅產品去銷售俾海外嘅市場，你咁就賺多啲錢咯。咁但相對翻一啲窮嘅國家，仲用嚟用去都係用翻自己嘅啲低端低技術或者係勞力啊，咁你換翻嚟嘅勞力嘅換翻嚟嘅咪少咯，即係嗰個 rewards， 咁你窮咯會繼續。The world of rich countries, the rich nations are part of the solutions, and then maybe to control the population increase, better birth control, increase of food production, maybe to have more advanced technology to have food production. Currently, and then in the current trend, okay, vegetarian, okay, become a trend, and then they can consume less unnecessary resources. And also right now there are so many using human intelligence, okay, and then to produce food, for example, like plant food, or even though and then using some of the technology to make use of to produce protein food. And then you can see that for example, like future, there are so many vegetarian food. Actually, this is composed by using the technology. For example, like the future, there's a future meat, for example, like impossible beef, okay, impossible meat, okay, a future for the future, they're using vegetarian, using plants, for example, like soya bean, okay, to make as a beef, or mix as a pork, or even though making as an egg, okay, and then this kind of, it is a trend of the increase of food productions. 你會見到咧，而家好多發展嘅發達國家咧，開始就改變緊個方向嘅。第一，人口控制啦，少啲birth control 啦，令到人嘅生存嘅時間長啲啦，少啲生細路仔啦，啲人會有更加 birth control 啦，同埋最緊要食啲未來食物啊，未來用嗰啲大豆啦，有做未來肉啊，有啲叫做futuristic meat, impossible meat, okay, and then that means making use of the soya bean, okay, and then to replace the protein from animal, and then you see that there are so many this kind of laboratory manufactured food in the market. 你會見到好多未來肉啊，嗰啲未來嘅牛肉、未來豬肉啊，同埋蛋啊，都係用嗰啲嘅合成嘅蛋白質嚟做㗎。呢個就係講緊個 food production 啦。And then there will be the future trend. Okay, also, and then with the enhancement of the technology, and then more yielding from the farm. Okay, this is increase of food productions. Introducing industrial new technology. For example, like recently you can see that the Xinjiang. Okay, there's about the cotton production. Actually, no one may notice about. Actually, there's a great enhancement. The industrial technology in Xinjiang, in China, up to 20% of the world's output of the cotton actually based on China, the Xinjiang. Okay, and then Xinjiang also up to very high standard of productions and very large amount of productions of cotton in China as well. And then you can see that from the Western countries accused China using the illegal labor force. In fact, okay, up to 80%, up to 80% to 90% of the harvest of the cotton actually based on using machines. Okay, and then the new technology using the 5G and also the satellite. Okay, and then the techniques actually they can help the farmers to on the way when they are harvesting, but at the same time they can do the packing of the cotton. Okay, and then that can save many labor costs and then the time as well. And then this technology have been reported by the foreign news, and then the West countries accused Xinjiang, but actually they underestimate the impact of the technological advancement in Xinjiang. In the 1970s, actually Xinjiang, okay, was not favorable for productions of producing cotton, but after 20 to 30 years of technological advancement, they try to change the harvest method, and then they change the plantation method, and they're making Xinjiang as the biggest province, okay, in China to produce cotton. Okay, and then have you ever read the news about the cotton productions in China? You will see that these are so amazing. And then it is about the West. They accused China, okay, and then to use the labor force. But when you understand the cotton productions in China, actually the technology is very advanced. 嗱，好多人咧就不停呢排就撩起嗰個新疆嗰個棉花事件啦嚇，啲人有喺度嘈啦。但係當到你再睇翻好多嘅報道同新聞講翻嗰個新疆採棉嗰個情況之後，你發現咗其實件事唔係咁樣嘅。你有冇睇清楚？大家就講緊啦，原來全球有20% 嘅棉花嘅出口量全部都嚟自出口嗰個棉花，其實嚟自新疆㗎，即係新疆嘅出產量係佔咗全球嘅棉花量嘅20%。咁咧直情咧就講到明做計埋個 GDP 嚟講咧，喺大陸喺內地嚟講咧，新疆係佔曬差唔多全個中國生產棉花最大嘅地區啦。咁同埋咧，原來我講到高達80% 以上，全部用機械化㗎啦。個機械化佢發明嘅係叫北斗系統啊。北斗系統係用個無人機嚟到去做，無人機嚟到做噴射嗰啲嘅嗰個營養同埋嗰個除蟲劑啦，同埋咧嗰個北斗嗰個系統咧講個點樣收割，全部係用晒機械化嘅，同埋嗰個北斗系統入邊咧，個發明翻喺代工入邊嚟講，係一路收割一路將啲棉花咧。就將佢整合嚟到做埋包裝，係一卷收，一路收架車一路喺度鏟嘅，一路收嗰啲棉花一粒啲棉花一路鏟，用人手收嚟定用機器收到之後，嗰部機咧係會將啲棉花將佢打成一卷啊，到你一度已經。收晒之後咧，成一桶一大桶一卷嘅棉花就已經係可以捲好，就擺落去運貨㗎啦。咁呢啲所有嘅發明都係內地自己研發嘅機械嚟㗎。咁令到嗰個棉花嘅收割量、嗰個質素同埋嗰個速度都好高啊。咁變咗其實用嘅人手係好少啊。咁呢個就好多情況之下，你唔透過呢啲報道，你都睇唔到原來中國個發展係快得咁緊要。咁同埋喺70年代嗰個情況之下咧，新疆唔係咁適合種棉花，曾經有政府係內地中央嗰時係曾經係禁止佢種棉花，覺得係嘥緊人力物力同埋個土地唔係咁適宜。但係當時嘅自治省咧就自己一路研發，跟住嗰度唔肯放棄研發咧，就改善咗嗰個棉花嘅質素啦，嗰個收割啦，同埋嗰個種植嘅方法，令到喺短嘅20幾年入邊嚟講，20零年入邊講，棉花嗰個整體嗰個嘅種植嗰個質素一路改善咗㗎，咁令到成個新疆可以係成為一個最大嘅省份，係可以出產咗棉花㗎，咁令到成個嘅地方嚟講，個地域嚟講咧，棉花嗰個嘅質素個量嚟講，成為中國嘅資管啦。咁你個出口嚟講咧，亦都成為可以賺到好多外匯啦。咁呢個咧亦都係我哋中國嘅國家強大嘅地方，而唔係就咁聽西方個國家不停喺度指罵。咁當然呢個係一個政治嘅籌碼啦，亦都係一個政治嘅一個國際嘅俾嗰個嘅壓力出嚟到攞。即係嚟到去講呢啲事件咯。但當你去認識一個地方、認識你自己國家嘅情況之下，你會發現咗其實再睇翻中國係好強大嘅，默默咁去做咗好多嘢，但係不停係冇人去報導或者冇人去認識樣嘢，咁佢不停聽一啲嘅新聞嚟到去抹黑嘅情況之下咧，係好唔公平啊！即係有好多抹殺咗人哋成個地方用咗20-30年嘅時間，由70年代話種唔到棉花，到而家係成為一個最大嘅一個生產嘅主要嘅來源，人哋付出咗幾多努力，用咗幾多10年幾多代人嘅努力嚟到去改善，呢啲就係中國人默默耕耘嘅一啲成就。但當有啲人唔去睇嘅情況之下，乜有個北斗嘅制度或者嗰個系統嚟到去點樣生產，同埋點樣可以用無人機，或者點樣去用翻 嗰啲嘅生產線或者收割嘅方法去睇翻嘅情況之下，其實好多嘅西方國家都未必可以做到咁。咁變咗，所以多種情況之下，呢個係我哋中國人嘅驕傲，亦都唔應該抹殺咗中國人嘅默默耕耘咯。咁當然都睇翻你究竟睇幾多新聞啦，你都去認識究竟人哋講嘅嘢係咪真係真嘅咧？你自己去睇一睇個新聞啦。OK。And also, which country that can have the role again and then to provide foreign aid to those countries in need, and then this is about the responsibility that the rich country, rich nation that can help for the global development. And then dependency theory, okay, it's a model of economic and social development that explains the global inequality in terms of the historical exploitation of the poor by the rich one. Okay, you can see that from the neo-colonialism in the 18th and 19th centuries, okay, because of the dominance of because of the colonial expansion, okay, some of the European countries, they try to expand to other poor countries, and then they try to get the resources, get the raw material, and then also to have to set up the factories. Okay, actually this is a kind of exploitation in 18th and 19th centuries. Okay, and then it's about the colonialism. 呢個就係講緊嗰個文化經濟侵略啦，利用嗰個殖民地主義喺18、19世紀年代啦，好多歐洲國家咧，因為嗰個佢自己發達啦，就派好多自己嘅軍隊出去侵略人哋呢個地方，變成殖民地。咁就變咗殖民地嘅情況之下，就攞咗佢哋當地啲人嘅raw material 啦，嗰啲嘅物資嚟到做生產，咪降低成本，或者你甚至係嗰啲窮啲地方，或者係啲殖民地地方去生產咗生產線啦。咁你都其實呢個都係一啲嘅剝奪啦，令到嗰啲地方點解有錢嘅有錢，窮嘅越窮啦。OK，a kind of exploitation。OK。And the historical perspective, economic positions of the rich and the poor nation of the world are linked, okay, because of the colonialism, okay. And then for prosperity of the most developed countries, they came largely at the expense of the less developed country because they set up factories, or they made use of the cheap labor over there, and then to set up production lines, or set up factories, or set up business, and then at the end they can get more money with the lower cost, okay. And then emergence of neo-colonialism, that is about the economic relationship between the poor and the rich countries, and then they are about the colonial pattern of the dominations. You can see that in 18th and 19th century, this kind of dependency theory. And then dependency theory about the role of the rich countries. So rich countries are part of the problem, making the poor countries economic dependent on debts. Okay, and then because of they exploit. And then the global poverty is not inevitable because it can result from the policies. Okay, it all depends about how the government between the poor and the rich, how they bargain. The rich countries are overdeveloped and themselves, and then they will underdevelop the rest of the world because the rich country become richer and richer. The poor will become poor and poor. 有錢嘅有錢，越窮嘅越窮啦。因為好多情況之下，由窮嘅國家要依靠啲有錢嘅國家嚟到喺嗰度建廠同埋俾工作機會啦。因為佢哋自己唔能夠強起來富起來啦。咁好多情況之下咧，就 radical okay, these poor countries may somehow they will think of the radical reform for the world economy is needed. This is social conflict approach. They may need to have to get rid of to making themselves strong, and also to have radical reform. They will request radical reform to make more equality, more equal opportunities. Okay. And then global stratification, you will ask, okay, what will happen then? Okay, expansion of global economies, and then people may think that expansion of the trade benefits all countries involved, but some other people may argue that manufacturing worker getting insecure, intensifying the economic inequality, and then people may argue, okay, and then about under global stratification, and then what will happen? And then some may say that well, with the global stratification, okay, people may actually we have trade, international trade, and actually that will be benefit, even though you may say that the poor may be underprivileged, okay, but somehow they can get jobs, okay, get the rice bowl, but somehow other side of the people, the scholar may criticize. Actually, under this kind of global stratification, the poor will getting poorer, okay, and then the rich will getting more richer, okay, and then actually the workers may not have job security. may not be protected. Okay, and then this is about the issues that may arise from the global certifications. 咁呢個都係一個幾有趣嘅課題嚟嘅。咁就話緊將來嘅情況之下，窮嘅有冇越窮啦？有錢有冇越有錢啦？咁有啲人就會調翻轉嚟講啦，喂，如果冇呢啲咁樣嘅global certification 就話。我哋都未必會做咁多 trade 啦，係咪？咁冇咁多 trade 嘅情況之下咧，冇咁多地方可以人人有工做啦。咁呢個咧亦都係講緊就係話唔同嘅 perspective 點樣去睇緊 global certifications 呢個就係講緊嘢。Okay, and then that's the end of these lectures. Okay, and then any questions about these lectures about global certifications？有冇問題？有冇問題？呢課書有冇問題 ？Any questions about this topic？有冇問題 ？Any questions about this topic？有問題 ？No questions. Very simple and straightforward, right? Okay. 有冇問題啦 ？We will take 15 minutes break and then I will start next lecture notes, next PowerPoint about migrations and populations. Okay. 我哋 take 15分鐘 break 先，跟住我就會教下一課書 about migration。講緊遷徙同埋人口遷徙 ，OK， we'll take 15 minutes break first, OK, and then we will start next lecture PowerPoint, OK. Hello. Can you hear me? And then can you see the PowerPoint? The PowerPoint? Can you see the PowerPoint? Hello. 聽唔聽到？上堂。Hello. Okay, you can see. Okay, and then let me resume the class first. Okay. 我開返個機先啦。Please wait. Right now I'm switching on. Okay. Okay, resume. Okay, let me resume. Okay, let's start after break. Let's start the last PowerPoint. Okay, the lecture 11 PowerPoint. Okay, as a friendly reminder, next week, next Monday will be the Easter break. Okay, and then no class next week, no class 5th of April, and then next week that will be 12th of April. That will be the 12th week of our academic calendar, right? And then we will have a week 12 class, okay, and then we will have revisions and in-class exercise 5 and also the consultation for assignment. 再講多次，重複講多次，下星期 next week 5th of April 4月5號 no class because this is the Easter break, okay, Easter holiday. And then week 12 that will be 12th of April 4月12號就係第12週。We will have lecture, and then there will be a revision lectures. Okay, we will have a revision from PowerPoint 1 to PowerPoint 11. Time to finish the in-class exercise 5. 我俾一個上堂俾我哋仲剩翻一個練習未做嘅，咁做埋佢啦。And then I will give you time for the consultation of the assignment. Okay, the last assignment. Okay, and then that will be the week 12th of April arrangement. Okay, 咁咧就4月12號嘅 arrangement. For the week 13, no lecture week 13, and then you will just required to attend the take-home exercise on 29th of April at 7 p.m. Again, week 13, no lecture, only take-home exercise. That will take place on 29th of April at 7 p.m. That's why mark on your diary, okay? Mark on your diary, 29th of April, 7 p.m. You are required to do a take-home exercise. And then it's an open book assessment, okay? And then to do exercise and then upload the assignment to the Moodle, okay? And then there is no reassessment. Okay, unless you have applied for the mitigations. 嗱，講多次，咁你到第13週就會係4月19號就要做個 take home exercise， 一個 open book 嘅 test 嚟嘅 ，open book 嘅，咁你就做，7點鐘開始做。咁唔該你寫低喺你個日記上面，你個筆記簿嘅你嘅行事歷上邊，就係話4月19號夜晚7點鐘開始做。咁10點鐘之前就交翻份功課上個 Moodle 度。咁咧，除非你有正式申請過要 reassessment， 如果唔係嘅話咧，就得一次機會嘅啫。OK， 咁唔該一定要參與啦嚇。OK。Very clear about week 12 and week 13 arrangement. Okay. Okay, and then next week 5th of April no class. Okay. Remind many times. Okay. Okay, and then right now we can start the last lecture PowerPoint. Okay, it's about migrations and population. Very simple, very clear, very simple, very straightforward. Okay, first of all, we understand that okay after the completion of this lecture, okay, and then you can identify some concept and theory related to populations and migrations, and then you can have some critical mindset about some contemporary issues related to population growth. Very simple. Okay, we can start now. Okay, first of all, migrations and population. Okay, and then we mentioned about migration, and then we will study about demography. Demography is the study of the human population, and then every country or every society may have many people inside a society or in a country, right? And then how we can study about the compositions of the population. Okay, it's about demography. And then we study about the size, compositions, and the structure, and then why people move, why people in, and then from place to place. And then this is about demography. 人口學 or demography. Okay, demography. Some basic demographic concept, okay, and then some calculations, okay. I don't want to teach too complicated, but somehow it is about the calculation formula about demography. 人口學嗰啲一啲基本嘅terms 啲計數嚟嘅啫，加減數。Fertility, the incidence of childbearing in the countries of populations， 咁即係出嗰個有幾多個BB， 即係小朋友喺嗰個population 入邊有幾多個啲即係細路仔啦嚇。OK. Crude birth rate. Okay. And then the number of live births in a given years of per 1,000 people in a population. 每1000人入邊有幾個出生率有幾多 ？OK. Crude birth rate. Okay. Per 1,000 people. Okay. The numbers of birth rates, live births. Okay. Mortality, incidence of death in a country population. 每1年入邊有幾多個人嗰個有死亡啦，係 in a country populations. Okay. Crude death rate per 1,000 people. Okay. And then the number of deaths in a given year. Okay. Per 1,000. 每1000人有幾多人死亡啦 ？Infant mortality rate. Okay. The number of deaths among the infants under 1 year of the age of each of 1,000 people. 喺1000人入邊，究竟嗰個死亡對相同嗰個初生嘅新生嬰兒嗰個比率係幾多 ？Okay. And then it is about per 1,000 people, per 1,000 lives roughly in a year. Okay. And then given we have to calculate the ratio between the death and the infant, the newly birthed and then the death. Okay, per 1,000 people. 每1000人入邊咧，究竟死亡同相對翻嗰個出生人口嗰個比例幾多？每1000人。Life expectancy. Okay, and then it's about 壽命啊 ，life expectancy, average lifespan of a country's population. Right now, you can see that the Hong Kong, the life expectancy really high. Okay, and then the highest one, somehow Japan, one of the country with a very high life expectancy. Hong Kong as well. In Hong Kong, female with a very high, even higher lifespan than male. Okay, and then Hong Kong and Japan. Okay, and then these are the places with a very high level of life expectancy because of better concept of medical checkups and then better medical equipment and medicine. Okay, and people with a more high level of health consciousness. Okay, and then people are aware of the better maintenance. Okay, these are all the factors that may have the life expectancy. 咁點解啲人會覺得壽命會多咗咧？咁你見到好多人好錫身嘅，而家近呢10幾年入邊啊，啲人好着重健康啦，會成日 body check 啦，食嘅藥啦，或者提早去檢驗啦。譬如有未到50歲就去驗大腸啊，每年嗰啲婦科檢查啊，譬如嗰乳房嘅檢查，女人啊咁，男性啊就譬如就係嗰個叫咩前列腺啊，咁啊又要檢查啦，三高啊咁，同埋食嘅藥啦，同埋佢食嘅嘢啦，都係會着重多啲咯，咁令到所有嘅嗰個會嗰啲人嘅意識上面會提高咗啦。Okay, and then people may get more alert about the health consciousness, and also they keep their life health, their well-being very good, and then regular checkups, even though 50 or for 50 years, okay, for the female to check the breast or some other checkups, and then for the male they will check the prostate, okay, and then for prostate, and then also to avoid any disease or any cancer. Okay, and then you can see that, and then the life expectancy in Hong Kong actually quite good, quite long. And then you see that people start to take up health supplements, even though already in 30s or 40s. Okay, and then these are the reasons. Life expectancy 咁我都係講咗啦，就係話嗰個lifespan 會長啦，同埋開始食嗰啲營養保健產品。Okay, population and compositions. Population composition is a makeup of a society population at a given point of time. We have to check the population compositions. Okay, the compositions of the youth or the infant or of the elderly people, and then that may affect about the government's policies towards the populations. Sex ratio is the number of 100 females in the nation's population in Hong Kong, and then the people may say that okay, the female are very difficult to get married because of the numbers of females per 100 females versus the male. Okay, and then in Hong Kong is about the ratios about female and male actually not very balanced, and then it's up to about per 100 females, only 70 males. This is the reasons why the people may claim that in Hong Kong may claim that okay, very difficult to find boyfriends or husbands. Okay, and then we have the age sex pyramid. Okay, and then it's a perfect representation. It's about age and sex and population. And then there are okay, we can take a look at this one. Okay, you can take a look. Okay, you can see that in China. Okay, let's see. You can see that okay, in China, you see that the population is changing. Okay, population is up to 2050. Okay, this is 1950s. You can see that okay, aging. And then in the 2050, okay, the population will be changing this way. Okay, and then you can see that why there's only in the 50 decades people are aging. Actually, after the Second World War, this is the baby boomers. There are a large amount of birth rate. Okay, in 1950s, and then when times go by, the baby boomers will become older, elderly people, and then the birth rate will decrease it a bit. Okay, because of a better education, better birth rate control as well, and then the birth rate dropped in the 1970s and 80s. But currently, in a couple of years ago, the Chinese government tried to encourage younger couples to have more babies. Okay, and then this is the forecast about the age pyramid, the age and sex pyramid in China. Okay. 咁樣呢個咧就係講緊嗰個 age 嘅 migration 嗰個嘅。Okay, it's about 31% of all Chinese will be above age of 16 in the 2050 because of the people aging. And then right now the birth rate is not very high in China. And then this is the reason why a couple of years ago the Chinese government tried to abandon the one-child policy and encourage more couples to have the second baby and third baby as well. Okay, and this is the reasons why about the policy to address the aging issues. Okay, and then aging issue that will occur in most developed countries. Why? Because the people wanted to enjoy life easier, and then because they wanted to get more too much burden in their lifespan, and also they may think that they wanted to have more independence and also more freedom. More higher educated people may even be concerned about the quality of the childbearing, and then they will prefer to give birth less than maybe only one child rather than more than one. And then even though they may choose not even have a baby as well. And then these are the concept in nowadays modern world. Okay, it is not surprising that young couples may not want to have children. Okay, and then you see that is about the China in the 1950s, the baby boomers. Okay, and then that is aging issues when the baby boomers become older and older. 咁你會見到49年之後咧就中國立國啦，即係嗰個新嘅新中國立國啦。跟住之後咧就會係會有多咁多嬰兒潮係咁生啦。咁因為打完世界大戰啦，亦都國家都穩定咗啦，咁係咁生啦。咁變咗啲 baby boomers 嬰兒潮嗰啲人就變咗今日嘅變咗70-80歲嘅人啦。咁就越嚟越老啦。咁70-80歲嘅人會繼續會生細路仔，因為有一孩政策啦，咁變咗嗰個 population 都係有啲 aging 啦。點啦？但係近年咧就因為經過咗改革開放啦，亦都經歷咗嗰個人口嗰個控制嗰個一孩政策啦。近呢2年咧開始發現咗，喂唔掂喎，一孩政策。咁中央咧都開始就放寬翻嗰個人口嗰個嘅出生嗰樣嘢啦，就希望多啲嘅後生仔就會生多啲後生嘅夫婦生多細路仔。咁咧就希望就改善翻嗰個人口老化嘅問題。咁咧就如果去到2050年啦，哇！真係起碼有成個1/3嘅人口其實都會變咗老人家啦。咁變咗就睇翻，所以一定要加翻啲勞動力啦。因為就成個人口好老化。In Japan, okay, the aging problem is quite serious. Okay, and then right now, and then the government will feel quite this burden to taking up the social welfare policy for the elderly people. So this is the reasons why you can not surprised that when you are in Japan for travel, you can see that there are so many part-time jobs, okay, actually filled up by the elderly people up to 70 years old. And then the elderly wanted to have some time to have to spending their time, okay, and then during their leisure time. That's why they take up the part-time jobs. Another issue is because of they wanted to get some more pocket money. And then this is not surprising that in Japan also is South Korea. Okay, the Asian problem is quite serious. 南韓同埋日本都係㗎，嗰個人口老化問題啊。咁好多老人家咧，或者生活時間同埋政府養唔到咁多老人家，個福利冇咁好啊，冇咁多啊，咁齊全啦。咁好多老人家之前70歲咧，繼續做嗰個旅遊巴司機啊，或者揸的士啊，或者甚至做零售，我都會見到日本好多，南韓都係。所以好多情況之下咧，呢度都係講緊嘅2戰之後嘅嬰兒潮嘅人啊，呢係2戰之後出生嘅人，所以變咗佢做咗好多 part-time 工。Okay, you can see that in Hong Kong, this is about the two from the Census and Statistics Department in Hong Kong. Okay, you can see that per 1,000 people, you can see that actually female, okay, more people, more population composition higher than more than male. This is the reasons why, okay, you can see that not easy to find boyfriend and girlfriends. Oh, sorry, maybe not to find the boyfriends for the females in Hong Kong, and then the male easier to get girlfriends. Okay, and you can see that there is aging issues as well. You can see that up to 60, 64, 50 to 55. Okay, and then you see that quite large amount. Okay, and then you see that the population of the infant not very high, and then there is quite a number of aging issues, quite obvious of the aging issues in Hong Kong. 咁你會睇翻2000年嗰個圖表啦，你見到發現咗都會係嗰個人口分佈入邊嚟講，香港裏邊都多老人家，大部分再過多30年啦嚇，20至30年呢堆咧會好多呢堆maybe 20 to 30 years ago later, okay, and then there will be aging problem, and then up to quite a large number of population that will be aging elderly populations. Okay, you can see that. Okay, and then you can see that Uganda. You can see that population. You can see that, and then you see that a high level of birth rate. Okay, you see that because of poor country, and the people have a mindset that they are agrarian countries or the agrarian. By culture, using culture and then planting for life. Okay, they may think that babies they are assets, and then the labor force for better income. Okay, and then they will give birth. Okay, but somehow the death rate is also high as well because of the poor hygiene, poor facilities or medical equipment. Okay, and then even though they give birth, but somehow the abortion are quite high as well. Okay. And then you see that is agrarian. It is about quite interesting that okay for those developing low-income countries. Okay, high birth rate somehow the life expectancy very low because of the poor hygiene, poor medical, poor facilities, and the people may die quite early. You can see that 60 to 64. Okay, and then 50 to 59. Okay, you can see that very low. Okay, and then you see that the population is not high. Okay, when we compare with some other countries or some places in middle or middle income countries or high income countries， 咁你會見到Uganda 比較落後啲啦嚇，咁變咗同埋出生率高，但係夭折率都高，咁變咗同埋咧嗰啲人死啊，好多人都唔係存活率唔高啊，因為病啊或者再加埋環境嘅問題啦。OK。Migration. Okay, when we study about population, we also understand. We have to understand migration. Okay, and then it is about the movement of people in and out the subsidiary territory, and then we have to calculate the net migration rate. Okay, the people in minus the people out. 入幾多減翻出嘅幾多，就睇翻嗰個人口嗰個出入嗰個率係幾多啦。Immigration movement into the country, immigrate people move into, and then is immigration in migration rate. Okay, and then immigration people move out from the migration rate. Okay， 咁你究竟有幾多入幾多出啦 ？Immigration 係 immigration 入幾多出幾多，咁計人口個出入率係幾多，咁入嘅多定出幾多啦？Okay, and then we have to understand the composition of populations. Okay, voluntary migrations. Okay, pull factor. Voluntary. Okay, some places are more, for example, like people right now in Hong Kong, for example, like 20 years ago, when there was a very good opportunity to work in China because of the GDP and then many jobs opportunity. Okay, people move out to work. For example, like me, in 23 to 24 years ago, I moved to China to work. Okay, when I was in working in advertising agency and PR agency. Okay, in the past, when prior joining CCU, I worked in business sectors. Okay, business field. Okay, and in commercial sector. And then I tried to move to China to work in Shanghai. Okay, and then it's about pull factor, attractive factor that draw me to out from Hong Kong to Shanghai to work. Okay, it's about voluntary migrations. Okay, and it's a pull factor in Shanghai, and then I go there. Okay, and then couple of years ago, around 10 years ago, okay, some headhunters in Singapore, they called me as well, and let's see whether I am interested to work in Singapore. Okay, it is about pull factor in Singapore. Okay, and then some of my colleagues, okay, they left CCU, they went to Singapore or went to Greater Bay region. Okay, Taiwan Greater Bay region to work. It's about pull factor in Greater Bay region and pull factor in Singapore, and then it's about pull factor. Okay, and then what is the push factor? This is something not favorable and then push you out. Okay, I use an example as a push factor. For example, right now, in recent years, okay, because of some social unrest in Hong Kong, people may think about Hong Kong may not be very good for living, and then they wanted to move out because to avoid any political insecurity. They may think that insecure or instability, and then they because they're at that time in 2019, okay, people may think about to have migration. Okay, they wanted to immigrate to some other places, about push factor。咁呢個就 push 同 pull 啦。咁譬如頭先我講咗啦，我喺20年前嗰陣時候咧，我曾經喺上海做過嘢嘅。咁因為嗰陣時發展得好好啦，上海哇，跟住飛快嘅發展啦，就嚇死你，一日千里。咁我都去過上海度工作過。咁係咪幾年前啦，有一啲嘅公司曾經喺新加坡有啲公司就問過啲 headhunter 問過我有冇興趣去新加坡做嘢啦？呢啲就係一啲pull factor，對方好吸引令到我去嘅。咁咩叫 push factor 咧？有啲原因係拱你走嘅。譬如舉個例子，2019年嗰陣時候，香港有好多社會運動啊，好混亂啊，黑暴啦嗰樣嘢啦。咁你有啲人會擔心㗎嘛？香港仲可唔可以住啊？香港仲安唔安全啊？安全啊？咁有呢啲咁嘅因素咧，令到你推你走啊，推你走就希望離開香港嘅。咁呢個咪就 push factor 咯。好啦，呢個都係一啲個人自願嘅出入問題。好啦，呢啲叫做migration 咧，就involuntary slaves or refugees。Okay, and then because of the very poor and also maybe war. Domestic violence, okay, and then that will make you to move out, okay, and involuntary migration, and then you can see that Rohingya, okay, refugees in Burma, okay, you can see that, and then they are murdered. 羅興亞人啊，俾唔謀殺，俾殺戮㗎，咁你變咗成個種族殺戮，你咪一定要走咯。Okay, involuntary migration, they have to leave their hometown. Okay, become refugees, slave and refugees. Okay, and also there are illegal immigrants. Illegal immigrants somehow usually they will use illegal immigrants, and then usually they will use based on the socio-economic reasons, and then they move to other places. For example, in Trump, the era of Trump presidency. And then Trump always wanted to have build up a fence, okay, to separate, to defend about the territory area between Mexico and United States, because there are so many illegal immigrants from Mexico, and then to go to the boundary of United States, and then for jobs and then for better living. Okay, and then they may think that Mexico very poor, and then not even to get living. That's why they have illegal immigrants. Okay, in Mexico to United States. Okay, and then these are some of the migrations examples. 咁美國咧啲非法入境者啦，咁最經典嗰個梗係特朗普啦，要整圍牆啦，咁圍牆就間住咗墨西哥同美國嘅邊界啦，等到啲墨西哥南美嗰邊咧啲人唔好走過去美國嗰度啦，就變咗非法移民啦，嗰度就攞嗰啲美國嘅人嘅福利啦嚇。咁呢個咧就係講緊就係illegal immigrants。通常 常咧就係用嗰啲經濟嘅誘因，令到啲人會離開佢嘅家園，就去第二笪地方度謀求生活啦。illegal immigrants. In 1970s, okay, there was a large number of illegal immigrants from Vietnam because Vietnam at that time there was a domestic civil war between north and south of Vietnam, and then many Vietnamese they tried to ride on the from boats, and then they move out from their hometown and then to Hong Kong, and then Hong Kong at that time under colonial rule of British government accept this kind of refugees, and then this is the reasons why in 1970s and 80s there was large number of illegal immigrants from Vietnam. 香港做過嗰個國際第一收容港收納咗好多越南人喺70年代、80年代。因為有內戰啦，咁變咗內亂啦，咁變咗咧嗰啲越南人要走啊，咁變咗情況之後咧，佢就會揀咗嚟香港嚟到去生活，咁變咗好多情況之後咧，就變咗第一收容港嘅時候，香港設立咗好多非法入境者，illegal immigrants。Population growth, okay, and then this is about one of the theory, okay, about Malthusian theory. Population and resources, okay, they may think that, okay, population and resources, there are some research. They may concern about this theory, concern about, okay, population would increase in geometric progressions. 咁呢一幾何呢個咧就用緊嗰個幾何嘅層遞咁樣嘅增加嘅數字。But how about the food production? Not increase in geometric progressions. Okay, trigonometric progression in this way. Just for example, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, step by step and then increase. And then this kind of population growth, they may cause the problem or concern about the food production may not be able to catch up with the increase of the population, and then that means the population that may cause starving, shortage of food. And then also from we cause about food problem, okay, and then this scholar we concerned about this, and then there will be widespread of starvation and war for resources. Population increase will lead to the social chaos, and then this about the population the issues under population growth. 咁好多情況之下就喺呢個Malthusian theory 咧就講緊啦。就話人口嘅增長都追唔過，即係人口嘅增長太緊要，幾可惜。但係咧我哋嘅糧食嘅生產咧，其實就唔係咁樣追得到啊。咁去到最後咧就會有饑荒啦，就戰亂啦，亦都會有好多糧食短缺同呢啲社會人口有問題啦。糧食短缺好多人會死啦，即係唔夠嘢食啦，一係咧就爭啦、打仗啦、內亂啦，就咁講嘅。Okay, 呢個就係佢個講解。But there's some other counter arguments. Counter arguments will be the scholar may think that well for the high income or better developed countries they may have birth control. People with more advanced and technology they will try to think about the new technological advancement to increase the food production. Okay, and also there may be some other counter argument against this theory. 咁好多情況之下，啲學者就研究啦，喂，究竟呢個 theory 係咪啱啊？咁佢就話呢個 theory 咧，好多情況之下咧，就太過悲觀啦。咁其實咧，有好多國家咧，其實都會有嗰啲人口嘅 birth control 啊。人口嗰個嘅控制嘅措施啦，就譬如點樣去控？如果真係太多生育率嘅時候會減啦，同埋好多情況之下咧，就有新嘅科技嘅發展啦，同埋有我所講啦，有新造嘅食物啦，唔使一定係種出嚟噶嘛，人造可以係人造出嚟嘅食物啦。咁同埋所以佢就覺得都未必一定係咁悲觀嘅咁樣啦。Okay, population growth, demographic transition theory. Okay, and then this about some other theories. Okay, first of all, it's a thesis that links the population pattern to a society level of technological development. Okay, these are about try to look at population. Look at the population pattern with the technological development. During the pre-industrial city, high birth rate and high death rate that led to very slow population growth because at that time very poor hygiene, poor medical resources, medical facilities. People gave a high number of birth because of very low education background, and then they may think that labor, okay, birth. Children are actually assets to the family. That's why they try to give birth. But at the same time, high birth rate as well. And then early industrial society, that means after industrialization, okay, high birth rate. And because people may think that labor intensive, right? And then falling death rate that lead to rapid population growth. OK， 咁呢兩個就講緊啲乜嘢啦？呢個就係講緊一個 study 咧，就話俾你聽，我哋將到人口啊，人口嘅嗰個嘅分佈咧，就同嗰個科技或者嗰個 technology 嗰條運上關係啦。咁喺工業發展，即係喺農業社會之前啦，農業社會時間啦，就話高出生率亦都高。死亡率，因為啲死亡因為嗰啲地方唔夠好啦，嗰個設備嗰樣嘢多生 BB， 因為啲人會覺得嗰陣時早年期嘅情況之下咧，就係話高人口咧，多啲人口多啲勞動力啊，對於個家庭好啦，係咁生啊，亦都同時間咧嗰個亦都嗰個死亡率高，因為嗰個唔係咁多藥啊或啲醫療設備，咁所以咧嗰個即使生咁多都好咧，嗰個整體全球嚟講嗰個人口嗰個生長就慢，但係去到工業開始嘅工業革命嘅初期入邊嚟講咧，就啲人都陸續照生得多，因為嗰個教育程度唔高啊。咁同埋但係咧嗰個嘅死亡率就開始低翻啲啦，同早期再比，因為可能嗰個醫療嗰度好翻少少啦嚇。咁跟住咧同人嘅壽命長啲啦，咁所以令到啲人口度急速發展。Okay, mature industrial city. Okay, industrial society. Both birth rate and death rate are rate dropped, and thus the population grew slowly. Okay, and then post-industrial society. Right now, okay, the birth rate keeps falling because of the people may have higher education and then are reluctant to give birth. Okay, and then the steady death rate. Okay, that plus the population grows very slowly. OK， 咁你就睇翻後期咧，就話俾你聽，人口發展得比較慢少少啦，因為可能就係話嗰個 birth rate 又會再減翻啲啦，同埋咧嗰個死亡率亦都唔會死，即係嗰啲人係長壽咗少少啊。咁變咗，所以咧嗰個整體全球嘅人口咧就會變咗就會唔係發展得咁快，即係生長得咁快咯，成長得即係增加得唔快嗰個人口嗰個分佈。Okay, another terms, migration, 都市化. Okay, and then it's a concept, okay, about the populations, okay, the concentration of population into city. People move into city to earn the living, and then they live from the village and then go to the towns. Okay, it's about the part of urbanization, and then we distribute the population within the society and transform many patterns of the social life as well. Okay, it's about urbanizations. We can say that urbanizations. Okay, 都市化 urbanization. And what is it about? Evolutions of urbanizations. Let's see. Okay, first urban evolution about 12,000 years ago. Okay, Jericho in Bible, Jericho. And it is the first city about 10,000 years ago. And then and then you can see that people living in a city, living in a city, first urbanization. And then when there was trade, when there was trade, and there were more people interact with each other. Okay, and then people try to move from the rural area and then to the city to live, and then they prefer the city living, and then the early living, and then they will try to stay in the city. And then in the pre-industrial European city, 5,000 years ago, medieval cities. Okay, and then there, as usual, the city center will become the focus, and then cathedrals, okay, will be built there, and then the people will live around the cathedral, and then there will be trade, there will be different kinds of services appear because of there was a high rise of populations. Okay, and then you can see that in the pre-industrial city, the city changed in this way. 咁好多喺中世紀時代入邊嚟講咧，就係話有啲通常啲變咗住喺城市啊，住喺啲市鎮入邊啊，會成為一個趨勢㗎。第一會起咗教堂，啲人聚集咗就容易啲返教堂啦。咁變咗聚集咗喺教堂附近，圍住教堂嚟住啊。咁為咗教堂嚟住咧，啲路就比較窄啲嘅嚇，比較窄啲。咁但係咧嗰陣時候咧就話啲人咧就會係沿住教堂多咗人住咧，有唔同嘅 service 啊，譬如有啲做衫啊、賣食物啊，咁越嚟越多呢啲咁嘅市集擺埋一齊嘅話，越嚟越多人聚集埋一齊啊！咁好多情況之下咧，由一個教堂為一個中心點，跟住一路衍生出去，一路成一行一條街咁，好似多人住。咁呢個咧都係一啲嘅叫 evolution of cities。Okay, and then also the ethnic communities. Okay, different communities. Okay, will be set up. Okay, due to the different people gather together。咁好多情況之下咧，唔同嘅種族同埋唔同嘅群組都會聚集咗，因為越嚟越多人喺嗰度住。OK， 咁呢個咧就係早期嘅 urbanization。Okay, evolution of cities. Okay, second urbanization. Okay, at that time, then afterwards, after that, later on in about in early 18th centuries. Okay, and then the street wider and then stricter because the people may think that they're using horse or using some ox again to carry the cart. Okay, and then they will use steaming and electricity because of industrializations. Okay, and then they're making the road wider, making the road flat. More flat, okay, and then even though not rugged in the past it's very rugged because the people just on foot and then for the transport, and right now they will use cart carried by horse or even though using car by electricity or steam. Okay, and then you can see that there's rebuilt the roads. Okay, and then that will make more traffic in along the road, and then they will become business district, and then people may offer different kinds of service. Okay, and then they will have crime and poverty as well. People with lower income, and then they will live away from the core center of the city. Okay, and then easier to understand. 好啦，咁去到第二浸嘅urbanization 咧，就話講緊啲乜嘢咧？就係話啲人咧就會開始咧就工業革命之後啦，啲人就可能用馬啦，或者用嗰啲牛嚟到啲卡車啦，咁就咪會有蒸汽嘅車啦。咁樣啲路咧以前就窄咁樣石級好 rugged 嘅即啦，突嘅。咁而家變咗會再重鋪嗰啲路啦，闊啲啦，可以運營俾一啲多啲嘅車嚟到去運載貨物啊、運載人啦。OK， 啲路就闊咗啦。咁亦都因為有唔同嘅人居住咗咧，就有唔同嘅生意就應運而生。咁啊變咗係一啲嘅 business centres 啊，變咗係一啲商業區啦，唔係淨係人住啦。咁因為越嚟越貴啊。越嚟越貴咧，地租會越貴啦。咁冇錢嘅人會住話，即係離開個市中心度住咯。咁亦都會開始會有 crime and poverty 啊。遠離個市中心嗰啲就越嚟越窮嘅人就會搬離開個市中心住，咁會有貧富嘅懸殊個分別會見到，同埋會有 crime 啊。Okay, and then urbanization, the third stage. Okay, since 1950s. Okay, urbanization, decentralization, suburb and inner city. Okay, you can see that the poorer people, okay, wanted to move out the boundary. Okay, and then for different because of the cheaper costs. Okay, and then they will live in a suburb or a rural area. Okay, and then the old industrial city will get polluted and too many people. Okay, and then they will develop the new cities, satellite cities as well. Okay, the old industrial city will become less popular. Okay, and then for the new industry. For the industry, and then people will move from the inner city and then to some other satellite city, and then they may think that the old city may be too old. Okay, and then people will move on. 咁我哋會見到第三期嘅 urbanization 咧，就係話嗰啲嘅以前市中心嗰啲咧，因為經歷咗好多年嘅發展之後咧，可能就會老化啦、舊啦、貴啦，同埋咧有好多情況之下咧就太多人啦。咁好多情況啲人咧就想揾一啲新嘅衛星城市嚟住，就離開個舊城區。咁咧頭先同埋都講咗啦，開頭有啲舊城區嘅情況之下可能貴啦，同埋好多情況之下都雜啦，啲人原來都最緊要係個 cost of living 高，啲人就會離開佢嗰個市中心去遠啲地方度住。咁呢個咧就係都係 urban revolution 嘅叫做 urban decentralization， 就個市中心 move 翻出去。咁呢個就 urban decentralization， 呢個就講緊 first stage with the urban decentralization。就會呢樣嘢提到多。咁舊城區就剩翻啲嘅發展啦。如果啲人咧就情願平啲、新啲、乾淨啲、冇咁雜咧，就去新城區度住。OK， in many places, for example, like in Beijing, and then the Beijing divided into east and west. Okay, and then the old industrial city they will become very old, old, and then cost of living is quite expensive, and then too crowded, and then people will move out from the old city and then to the old core city, and then to outside. And then you can see that in China, they divide into Song 1, Song 2, Song 3, Song 4, Song 5, and then more people will live in the Song 4 and Song 5. Okay, and then you can see that there's an urban decentralization from Song 1 to core, and then to move to 4 and 5. 咁你會見到咧，第三期咧就係話啲人會由嗰個市中心最重要嘅 CBD 啦， 搬翻去可能近郊嘅地方啦。頭先講到個舊城區貴啦、舊啦或者雜啦、人多啦，咁啲人會搬翻出嚟啦。就咁啊，譬如北京入邊都分到㗎，有4環、5環一啲咪近呢翻10年都係㗎，啲人去翻啲4環、5環居住咯，都係咁。倫敦都係㗎，啲人去翻松4同松5住㗎，因為松1太貴啦、太密集啦，就比較雜啲咯。咁變咗所以咧，啲人會decentralization做呢個原因啦。OK。Problem of urbanization, okay, environmental deficit, okay, and then you see that the long term of pollutions, okay, that will be harmful to the environment because of the urbanization, and then that people, the human may have very short-term material efforts, but neglect about the long-term conservations, okay, and then environmental concern are sociological, and then to take care, they have to they try to think about the need of the society, and then try to have better maintenance, okay, and then they will about the environmental concern. And then many environmental damage is unintended because of the urbanizations. OK， 佢唔係特登咁做嘅，因為呢個都市化嘅同埋一個經濟發展入邊嘅一啲嘅副產品啦，可以咁講。呢啲都係大家唔想要發生嘅。And then the environmental deficit is reversible. Have a better planning, better control, better regulation, better consensus. OK, that can make the environment become better in the future. It is reversible. 咁唯有做好啲啦，環境污染嗰度做好啲啦 ，less wastage 啦 ，less garbage，less pollutants， and that can make the society become energetic again。咁呢個就話俾你聽，就係話環境上面咧，亦都希望可以改善翻啦。咁同埋環境上面咧，就希望嗰啲嘅嗰個曾經破壞咗嘅地方，要知道唔應該再破壞啦。咁希望咧就少啲垃圾啦，少啲污染啦，少啲傷害啦，對個社會就應該會好啲啦。Okay, migration, urbanization. Okay, and then it's about the logic of growth. Okay, supporters may think that the economic development is very important, claiming that people can solve environmental problems as they arise. Okay, and then progress. That means the idea about the future that will be better than the present. Okay, it's about the logic of growth. Okay, urbanization. People may have different viewpoint. They may think that some academics, okay, may think that actually they think that it is good because the people may, if a better economic environment development, and then the people may claim they can solve the problem. Okay, and then when the people alert the problem, and then they will try to minimize it. Okay, and then the other side will be argue that say that people must put in a place of policy to control population increase, pollution, and then the use of resources in order to avoid environmental collapse, environment to become deficit。咁好多情況之下，啲人就話：喂，其實唔係咁好嘅喎。唔贊成有咁多嘅urbanization，我至到最尾咧，其實咧就話形成咧就會變咗終有一日咧，所有嘅 resources 會用晒變咗個個人咧，下一代就冇得享用翻啲 resources， 因為啲人咧唔會去改善嘅，有啲人會咁諗啦嚇。咁呢個有唔同嘅學説去講翻究竟你會贊成定係反對啦嚇。咁但係我覺得其實 urbanization 係一個城市都市化嘅過程，係一個必然一個經濟發展入邊其中一個副產品嚟嘅，避免唔到，除非個經濟停頓，成個地方係唔發展啊，其實冇可能避免。I think that urbanization in one part of the process is inevitable unless there is no economic development. Okay, otherwise urbanization must take place. And then this is about how the people will have the alert, will have the sense and awareness, and then to protect. I think whenever all the population of people may alert about how the serious about the problem created by the environment, created by the human beings, and that they will try to protect. This is the reasons why I think that urbanization is inevitable. We cannot avoid because it's a part of the process of economic development. But somehow it all depends on how the people perceive it, how the people preserve it. Okay. Last slide, Georgia. Sustainable development. This is the reasons why the people uphold the sustainability. How we can sustain the environment and then make the environment to the next generation. Okay, the people can still enjoy the natural resources. Okay, and then in principle, it is to create ecological sustainable environment, and also the mindset. Okay, and then to help the younger generation try to help to protect about our environment, and then to make all the resources to be sustainable. Okay, and then that will be we have to preserve the environment, water, for example, water, and then also the natural resources, okay, and then also all the heritage, okay, over there, and then that can be sustainable to next generations. Okay, that is about sustainability. And then right now, for this recent 2 decades, okay, many corporations they try to carry out about the CSR, corporate social responsibility, not only making money for the corporations, but somehow try to protect and even though put in resources, okay, when they are making money, making profits, and then to make the environment, and then in order to have a long-term development. And that is also the new mindset of the corporation in the current 20 years. Okay, and then this is the reasons why many corporations not only deprive the resources, deprive the raw material from our natural environment, but somehow they try to input into, for example, like the planting. For some corporations for using woods, okay, and then they cut all the woods, cut the trees, but at the same time they also plant the new trees as well. And it is about sustainability development. 咁你會睇得到咧，就越嚟越明白得到咧嗰個環境嘅保護啊，要可持續發展啊。咁所以咧就會有好多公司咧就開始推行翻嗰個叫做企業社會責任啦。一方面有啲譬如有啲企業咧，佢用好多樹啊，亦都會種樹啊。咁跟住咧就種樹，咁種好多樹咧就會令到個環境可以個環境咧就可以會好啲啦。咁亦都用之於社會嘅時候咧，就會用晒社會嘅所有嘅資源啦。咁亦都令到嗰個成個環境咧能夠可以持續到俾再下一代啦。呢個都係講緊 CSR 啦 ，corporate social responsibility 係咁。OK。咁咧OK, that's the end of lecture 11. Very straightforward. Any question about lecture 11, population and migration? 有冇同學有嘢問啊？關於 population and migration 呢一課書有冇嘢問 ？Any questions about migration and population? This topic? Any questions? 冇問題。Any questions? Any questions about this topic? If no question, that's the end of. Any questions? Okay, no question. If no question, and then that's the end of today's class. Okay, and then for next week, 5th of April, 4月5號, no class, Easter holiday. And then I will meet you again. Okay, we will have class again on 12th of April. 4月10號先見啦. And then I will have revisions and also have the discussion, in-class discussion exercise 5 and also consultation. 4月12號我哋再見啦，我會做3樣嘢，俾翻個 revision 啦，做一個練習啦，我做一個練習未做嘅，咁同埋咧就會有個 consultation 嗰個功課 consultation. Okay, that's the end of today's class. Okay, thank you for coming. Okay, any questions? Okay, good. If no question, I see you on 12th of April. 我4月12號先上堂見啦。OK， 有咩問題嘅 email 我。If you have any question, you can email me anytime. I will meet you again on 12th of April for revision class. OK, see you guys on 12th of April, week 12. OK, 12週4月12號見，我先再上堂啦。OK， 拜拜。OK, take care. Bye bye.